All right. Hello, everybody. Am I live? I'm live. Am I? I forgot I pressed live. You guys listen, all right? Here's the situation. There is a kind of an interesting conversation that Druze are having right now, and I'm kind of listening to it, and I am kind of annoyed that they do it while I promised to go live with you. So, of course, we're going to spy again. So we're going to start this live by spying on the Druze conversation, their private public conversation. You guys are ready?
I know how Druze think actually.
And we can look at interesting
Druze,
stuff in
they
the
just want
meantime.
peace. It's not. They don't lead the religion war
Hello.
against HTS. HTS, right?
All right, so I'll just tell you guys where they're at right now. So they were sharing like their thoughts about the situation in Syria and the Druze and how disappointed they are that they were betrayed by their neighbors and stuff like that. I mean, I think you can also check it out later. So I'm gonna move that. How do you say it? I wanted you to say it properly. Let me check. It's funny. It's like, you know what? It's like happening live, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of stopping myself, I'll just share with you what I'm doing when I'm supposed to be already live. But you know, when I go live, I'm like, okay, I need to know everything that's happening. So my computer decided not to charge. Okay, it's charging now. All right, so I'm going to tell you. So at some point, somebody came up and started saying that they don't want it to be categorized as a religious war. And ever since that was happening, they're talking about whether or not it's a religious war. Because once this person that came up and said, I don't want to say that this is a religious war, everybody else started saying that how can you say it's not a religious war when it all started because, like, I mean, when they tarnished the Druze holy sites in Sweden, where they went around, and the fact that there are the moderates that they thought were their friends are mocking them, that their friends from Lebanon who are Sunnis, who they thought were moderates, are actually sending them memes and stuff like mocking their situation and the fact they're being slaughtered and they are in danger in Syria, and the fact that the UAE, Saudi Arabia, nobody said anything about their situation. So they're like, where are the moderates? Like, how can you deny this is a religious war? So basically, this is where we're at. So let's try to zoom in a little bit, spy on others, and then. Mike, you are not late at all. We just started. We started with a little bit of, spying.
Happen. This
And then after that, we're going to talk about everything that's happening. The crazy, like the strikes on Yemen, the plan for Gaza, which I don't know, I think you've seen the thumbnail and the title of the video. So, all right. Let's listen a little bit and then go ahead with the plans because it's everywhere, right
because I
now.
don't think these people
Everything is
there,
happening, flaring up
the
again.
Muslim
Okay, why am I not hearing anything? Oh,
radical
because I muted
in
it.
Syria.
Oops. Oh, go away, Siri. I hate that she does that. Go away, Siri.
I think also I agree with you. I think there is no coming back from this. I don't see that the situation of the Syrian Druze in Sahnaya is going to be any different from the situation of the Syrian Druze in Idlib. So yeah, I agree with this point that there's no coming back from this. Lord, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Actually,
first of all, thank you for the space. I'm so glad that it's recorded, so I will listen tomorrow. I really want to hear everything. What?
I'm gonna open a map real quick so we can look at the map and understand where Sahnaya is, where Idlib is, since we're at it. Oh, here, let me. opening the map and no, come on. Why are you stuck again, my stupid computer? Is it because I have a lot of things open at the same time? Is that why? Is this racism? Is that what racism is like? La la la. Okay. At least it says I'm live properly. I think the camera is too high for me, kind of sitting uncomfortably here. So it looks like I look down all the time. It's because like like my computers are here, the screen is here, and the camera is here. So I look here. So I don't think it looks like that. And by the way, I was supposed to buy a flight today, but I don't know if you guys heard. We had a little bit of an incident, and that is the incident was we didn't stop, and the missile from Yemen, and that hit extremely closely to our national airport, Ben Gurion Airport. So yeah, like the site just I couldn't purchase a flight today, so I probably just stay home actually. Yeah, that's the plan. I'll just stay home, fly nowhere. Being home is not too bad, and the reason I'm still not showing you the map or anything is because it still did not load. By the way, the crater it created was not small at all. Like, ugh. It's like the message was sent, but life was spared. So I'm glad it looked like Israel got the message. It's like, you know what? It's like it's fun. It's all fun and games with the arrow and stuff, but it only takes one missile to hit for it to be a very bad situation. And we got lucky that we got the message without the consequences. But now they're getting the consequences of the message being heard, which is extremely beautiful. Oh, look at that! It says here that President Ahmed al-Shara will visit France soon. Francis, what's going on with those frog eaters? Can someone tell me what's happening with this frog eating country? I don't usually like making fun of people's like culinary adventures, but you know, I think this is like the nicest insult I could come up with for the French right now. So yeah, you're welcome. I feel like it's a relatively nice insult. What's wrong with comments? YouTube deleting or moderator deleting? I don't know. Moderators tell him. By the way, hello everybody. Hey Shauna. Hi Sandra. Hi Almir. Hello Torah Worldwide. You guys, is my video chopped? Let's see my streaming situation. It says it's good. Streaming says it's good. Don't forget about the snails. How can I forget about the snails? Okay. And we are back with spying on the Druze, I feel like. Oh no, you're right. Now it's telling me that there are issues. It's okay, it's gonna settle soon. It's gonna be okay soon. All we have to do is breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Come on. I'm telling that to myself, obviously. All right, so I guess that I don't know. I guess what is it? What is it today? Is Monday? Okay, so there is some days until Saturday. I wonder how many people are gonna be upset that Netanyahu officially said that we're basically taking over Gaza and the stupid negotiations are that's it. That the way we're gonna get the hostages from now on is by negotiations through physical negotiations. Yeah. Purple Pearl saying every third message of mine is getting shadow censored, and you are the moderator. Can you believe it? Did you guys try to? Yeah, YouTube is censoring a lot lately. Oh, do you guys know about censoring? That YouTube demonetized completely the channel, like the Israel advocacy movement channel. Like they demonetized it completely. Barry is asking, where were your grandparents born? Why do you effing care, Barry? Dan Pollock bought a book, Aggressive Negotiations. That is, yeah, but I think physical, aggressive physical negotiation, something like that. Anyway, Barry, my grandparents were born not in the same place their own parents were born at. So what would that say to you, right? Would it say what they are if they themselves were born pretty far away from where their own parents were born? I'm just wondering, like, if it matters. Torah Worldwide is saying, I'm 10 generations in Israel. Why don't nobody ask me that question? I don't know, Torah. Maybe, I don't know, actually. Another thing that my sister's boyfriend, he is also like 16 generations in Israel, and they have they own the craziest property in Jerusalem. I think, I don't remember exactly where, but they own the public toilets in like one of the like most central places in Jerusalem, which is, I think, I don't remember, the Shuk. I don't remember exactly, but but yeah, it's such a funny thing because it's like, I think it's like, so I think it's in the Machne Yehuda. So his family is like a million generations in Jerusalem family, and they actually own the bathroom there. Like this is their family property, with which they joke that it's owned by his grandma. But I mean, if they would have a like inheritance disputes in his family, they would be kind of shitty. Awful delivery, awful. Zero on delivery. Okay, let me check the internets. Okay, I'm gonna touch nothing for some time, I think. Till it figures itself out. Barry, you are India.
Facts.
Oh, here. Dan Pollock bought a book. It's pronounced public shitters. Thank you. Thank you for the moment of like educating Rebecca. Shauna is sharing, I'm 10 generations in America and people still say I am from Europe. Okay. Well, I think Native Americans, guess what? They also kicked out Native Americans when they came in. Like, it's not even they're not the first migration into the Americas. There was an older population that I think became like a minority because of intruders that became a majority. So there was a native population in America when the Native Americans that call themselves now Native Americans came to America. So just a fun fact I've heard recently. Don't take me too seriously. This is outside of my expertise. I'm not gonna pretend like Native American tribes or anything is something I'm an expert on. But yeah. And we're very cozy today, as you can tell, I hope. I'm guessing. Oh, come on, internet. Do better, please. Fine, I get the memo. I'll just close up things, okay? I get it. I have too many things that are open. All right. Oh, God. And let's not forget, if we're being very honest, I think like everything outside of Africa actually belongs to the Neanderthals. You know what I'm saying? Come on, like, you know, the Denisovans, because it's an easier name to say. And we basically drove them extinct. So I think we should actually check like everybody's DNA, everybody who's outside of Africa. And I think that we should only let like those who have like a significant percentage of non-Homo sapiens DNA in their DNA to be like the ruling class. Yes. So that's what I have to say. Okay. Star, yes, 3 Neanderthal. All right, let me see. If like random messages pop up, it's because I'm not controlling my computer that well right now, so sorry. Right. Oh, new supporter, thank you. Dan Pollock bought a book. I know I sound like federal agent when I say, but hear me out. The Mediterranean Sea is deep. Oh shit, I couldn't hear. Like, wait, I'll read it. I'll read the rest of it. I hate that it's so short. I bet I can like change the settings so it would show for longer for those who read like slowly like I do. Okay, let me see. So here's the Mediterranean Sea is deep enough to handle the pesky Philistine population. Me gusto, e gusto. Okay, we're gonna talk about the population of Gaza. All right, Shauna Thornton. This is correct, Rebecca. There was a lot of migration in the Americas. It depends on the tribe nation. Yeah, I don't like the genetics kind of argumentation because like if an Indonesian converts to Judaism, like they have the same rights as I do, right? If they are acknowledged by the state, like if the Jewish community acknowledges their conversion, then they are part of the Jewish tribe and they are first generation Jew. So, and the reason we accept it is because we understand that some things are about values and way of life and not necessarily what the genetics you're carrying, right? Like, it's not about that, right? It's like I want the good people in and I want the bad people out. And you cannot conflate, like, yes, Judaism is an ethno-religion, but mostly because it's way easier to understand something if you're born to it. If it was easy to teach Judaism, it's kind of, I feel like this is a conversation I had with my friend last night, because Jews are stupid, like most of them. They don't understand how to explain Judaism to others. So others cannot learn it. But the thing is that because they go through the system even without understanding it, it's just like a black box for them, and it wires their brains in a certain way, which only happens if you already grow up in that system, but not everybody understands the system, so this is the problem. Okay. I think the computer is not really cooperating with me right now. Let me see if I'm still live. Come on, I wanted to spy a little bit on the Druze with you. Oh well. Gonna be hard to show you stuff if my computer is not cooperating, not gonna lie. It's also getting too warm here. My computer is getting hot and it warms me up and I'm wearing a sweater. Oh, there is a dramatic. Oh, this looks interesting. Wait, let me share that with you.
Still, we've served active duty. I've flown operations against the Middle East, particularly against the Iranians. Let's not forget, the Houthis have this because the Iranians afforded them the ability to have it. And Iran is the #1 sponsor of terrorism. The real concern here is that we have a ballistic missile that flew over 2,000 miles, struck inside Israel. Israeli air defense was not able to stop it. There's a real assessment coming out of the intelligence community that this could be a hypersonic glide missile.
And that's a big deal.
Which is cutting edge. This is technology that Iran itself doesn't have, meaning that there are other actors involved in this, likely Russia, certainly China being involved to be able to now provide a terrorist group, a JV terrorist group, first strike capability.
And in the 30 seconds, a big story here. Israeli and U.S. air defense has failed to stop a Houthi ballistic missile that hit Ben Gurion Airport. I mean, how did the Houthis, how were they capable of doing this? Was this a ballistic missile? What are your thoughts?
So, look, I'm an Air Force colonel in the reserves now still. We've served active duty. I've flown operations against the Middle East, particularly against the Iranians. Let's not forget, the Houthis have this because the Iranians afforded them the ability to have it. And Iran is the #1 sponsor of terrorism. The real concern here is that we have a ballistic missile that flew over 2,000 miles, struck inside Israel. Israeli air defense was not able to stop it. There's a real assessment coming out of the intelligence community that this could be a hypersonic glide missile.
And that's a big deal.
Which is cutting edge. This is technology that Iran itself doesn't have, meaning that there are other actors involved in this.
Fascinating.
Likely Russia, certainly China.
Okay, let's listen to the Druze.
Provide a terrorist group, a JV terrorist group, first strike capability.
And in the 30 seconds.
Okay, let's try listen Druze versus darkness. What's happening? I have no idea already where they're talking about. I feel like I'm watching a slideshow. Oh my God, that's scary.
Israeli and U.S. air defense has failed to stop.
Okay, start listening. The audio is fine? Is the audio fine? I hope the audio is fine. I got so warm. I need a break. Come on. We have so much to talk about today, but yet, I mean, I guess that's something. Come on, come on. Did it exit that? Come on. What's up, X? What's up, X? No, it doesn't want to show it. Come on. You know what? I'm gonna do something weird. I'm just gonna open it in my phone. So it's gonna be maybe a lesser quality. but you're gonna hear it. So. Because my computer is not stuck, you know. Oh, now you decided that you want to log in? Huh? Now? And you people keep looking at me like I'm crazy for saying we have to destroy China. Who looked crazy at you? Like, who said you're crazy? Everybody knows. I mean, here's the thing. It's like China is like kind of, it's like, it looks like it's about to collapse. They have like, they built a upside down pyramid. So yeah. Well, thank you for your support, Joshua. And if you guys want to support me, I'd appreciate it. By the way, here are some of the things I've been doing today. Was also to try to understand how to open an NGO. I mean, I don't know if I'm actually gonna volunteer all the way to be a part of it, but you know, to help the Druze in Syria, we should have probably a proper NGO. So that's one of the things I was doing today. So, okay, I opened that in my phone so I can listen.
Druze, Alawites, Christians, Yazidis, Jews, like everybody in the region, because, you know, like you're just giving ISIS a chance. It's very unfortunate that the majority of Lebanese Christians don't understand this. But we have so many Lebanese Christians, individuals who've been very supportive, and you know, they've sent us messages and like they interact with our content, and they're heartbroken about what's happening. But the general opinion now, they want to give Jolani a chance, and we see it based on how the media is being reported by main Christian-owned channels. Let's put it this way.
So the Christians in Lebanon want to give Julani a chance while the Julani is actively slaughtering the Druze. So like they feel sorry for them, but not enough. That's the thing.
I do agree with you. People,
I don't know if is the sound fine.
Or miscomprehend the current situation because of political or selfish ambitions. For example, my reading to it, I'm not Lebanese, as you might guess. People, you know, assume that Julani might be their friend because he's the enemy of their enemy. So he might be a potential ally, who's someone who's been walking on the paths of ISIS, anti-Hezbollah, and now he's becoming normalized or joining the free world with the Western values, or not even Western values, but human values of dignity, of respect of the human life. But he proved all of us wrong. I mean, we didn't have any hopes in him, but he proved everyone wrong. The very first moment he had a chance, he went to the coast and butchered. I mean, you've been through this before. Yeah? You can argue he sent the groups or the outlaws that are unorganized. They're working on their behalf. They are easier to blame, easier to persecute. They went, they killed, and then when the whole world turned against them, he said, no, it's not us. We've been there, and we put them in front of a judge and a table, and as it seems, they are moving in the right way. I'm not saying that the new Syria is not getting very good advices that are giving the people that don't understand the inner dynamics an impression that this is a state that is moving in the right direction, which is not, sadly. And we've been through this before. It's a very long fight, discussion, conflict, a confrontation that we need to be ready.
So it's not that I like making fun of my friends, but I don't know if you guys remember that I made a video called something in like tell him, like I think the thumbnail was telling no, like things I want to tell to my girlfriend about Syria, and I talked about it like it's a toxic relationship because she was so optimistic when the Assad regime fell, and she was like singing kumbaya songs and it's gonna be better, and all I could feel like I want to do is just roll my eyes and be like, what are you thinking is gonna happen, girl? Like literally, what are you thinking? And now she making posts about like because she's a good person. She making posts about like the terrible situation in Syria and stuff like that. But at the same time, she was like so excited and so hopeful when, you know, the Assad regime fell over. Okay, I'm trying to play it from my computer, but my computer just does not, for the life of it, cooperate. So I'm gonna just continue playing it through my phone. I'm sorry. I hope it's bearable. Dan Pollock bought a book. Who could have possibly seen that a Muslim would slaughter people? Who? Where is Nostradamus? Oh my God, so much. That is so accurate. Like literally. Like, yeah, where is Nostradamus when you need it? Who would have thought? Who? Like later, I was like, I didn't know where to put. Like, I thought like at some point, if you roll your eyes too hard, I feel like it might be risky. But yeah. Okay, let's hear more. Let's spy on more.
I haven't seen anything on the ground, and I understand there's issues and real fears of this, but there are a large number of Christians within Sutra, and there were a lot of Christians within Dara, including several major cities there being Christian majority. Or at least that's what the internet tells me. I don't know if it's still accurate after the Civil War.
Arya, you're talking about Christians in Syria?
Yes. Has there been any support on the ground, especially in the surrounding areas to Sutra, from the Christians?
I will let Syrian answer your question, but just to clarify, what I was saying was about the Lebanese Christians, and we need to understand that the Lebanese Christians and the Syrian Christians are not one entity. You know, I've spoken to Lebanese Christians before during the massacres of the Alawites, and I was like, why aren't you speaking up? You know, like Alawite regions is mixed with Christians, and there are Christians who are like, you know, being slaughtered as well. And what they said, they're like, oh, we don't care about this community. That's a community that used to support Bashar al-Assad, so we don't care about it. And we're not like you, like the Druze, where you are like one community, one ethnicity. You know, we don't have anything to like bound us with other Christians apart from the Bible. So they don't see themselves as one entity. Just to clarify, my answer was based on the Lebanese Christians that we're seeing support from some individuals, but like the main political party is sadly allied with Jolani, and like people from that political party are the people who are like angry at me and unfollowing me for like talking about this. But if any Syrian wants to answer this about the Christians in Syria, because I personally don't know, please feel free.
I really feel like this conversation between the Druze should have had a lot more listeners.
I think that I don't want to sound like someone like who care more, like because I'm Druze and I live together with the Jews. But I think if you look back to all the history here in this land, the most two nations that suffer here are the Druze and the Jews, and the same way. Because I think the radical Muslim in this area, the Middle East, they don't want and they don't believe that we have a right to exist in this land. So I think that we need to build something to the future, like the Jews in Israel from 1948. We built something together very wonderful. So I think now this is the time.
Yeah, you gotta love it that they ask for a Syrian person to talk about the Christians in Syria, and then an Israeli Druze was like, I want to talk, and started talking about something else completely. I want to hear the gossip about the Christians in Syria, but like they're not gonna give it. Like they talked shit about the Christians in Lebanon, and I did it a lot on my channel as well, which makes it extremely like it makes me feel extremely good with myself. The fact that they're shit talking about Christians in Lebanon, because I did it so much on my channel, I feel like heard and seen and agreed with. You know, I feel like it's nice, but the Israeli, he's a Druze, not a Jew, right? But the Israelis always have to jump in and ruin my hopes to talk, to hearing something. But okay, fine.
We have a space for this Druze. We are just 130,000, something like that. So if we bring more Jews from around the world here, we need more people here like us together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Dara, next.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now? Because previously I don't think you can hear me.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So there's a big. I see a lot of conversation was against the jihadists, and the international community is not really realizing or not bringing the conversation to the levels that it needs to be. We're all fighting radical Islam, and yet people are focusing on mostly around the world. Most of the humanitarian organization focusing on condemning Israel actions, and yet nobody cares about the different minorities across the Middle East that are being slaughtered and killed and enslaved every single month. As I suggested, as we see different conflicts unfold, whether it's Israel, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Kashmir, whether it's in Africa, in different parts of Africa, that there is a coalition of all the different the populations that are constantly being attacked by the different jihadi groups. We're all fighting the same radical Islamic groups with just different names across different regions of the world. I think united, we have stronger numbers. Obviously, there's not enough of any of our minorities, right? There's only about, I think, 1 million Druze, give or take, 15 to 16 million Jews around the world. I guess one of the biggest ones that are fighting currently the jihadists is the biggest groups is the Hindus around the Kashmir area. But again, when we talk about this, we have to start thinking on uniting all the different groups that are being constantly killed, and bringing it up to attention to all these supposed humanitarian groups. And we have to start thinking of entire coalitions that are going to push back on this narrative against this radical Islamists that want to constantly enslave and expand their caliphates.
Thank you, Dara.
Can I add something, Jeff? Maybe.
Just one quick. I think the alliances here are very important.
Sam, go ahead then.
Yeah, I want to say to my Jewish brothers here and sisters, if you have a garden or in the nature, if you have tree, the tree need micro elements to grow. So I think the micro elements in Israel, it's the Druze and the Jews together. So you can't just live here alone. It will be a human in the desert. So what give Israel colors? It's the Jews, because the only nation that hug you and you feel like safe to live beside and together is the Druze. So I think that many sometimes I hear in Israel, why we need to give back to the Druze in here, and that the Druze all over the world the same. To me, the Jewish everywhere is Jew. I don't care if he's just from Syria, if he's from Lebanon, if he's from United States, the same. Thank you.
But Sam, just to respond, what I was trying to say is there's sometimes infighting between all these minorities. Either it's the different Christian groups, the Alawites and the Christians that were mentioned here. There's so many different historical events that have happened that keeps dividing us. But we need to focus on the real chaos that's causing this. Even there were some unfortunate events even between Jews and Druze in the past during the Ottoman Empire. Without going too deep in mentioning those events, most people
there was a massacre in Spat.
Care about those events anymore. They've made shalom sulha about this and moved on as Druze and Jews in Israel can live peacefully. And we now know the Druze of Israel and the Jews of Israel know that the real enemy is this jihadist groups that keep trying to bring us down. So I hope that even in the Lebanon, the different divisions between the
I'll try again to play from the computer, but basically you can hear like at this point like everybody just saying what's in their heart. That's how it feels like. Everybody is just different groups, Christians. Like I think it's mostly Druze in the group. By the way, it's also nice and interesting to see comments from Yazidis, because for Yazidis they feel like nobody came for them to help them. So, but there are somehow they're still like, even though they feel like nobody came for them to help them, like they are still grateful, like and happy for the Druze that somebody is showing up for them, which is cute. I like it when somebody is happy for someone else. It says a lot about them. Okay, do you think I'll manage to open it from my computer? Is it a lost cause? Yeah, Druze and Jews, it sounds a lot of, like very similar, I know, so it's hard. All right, let's see what St. Miles had written here. Will Rebecca be getting a beachside cabana once Islam is relocated from Gaza? Yes, of course, I can do that. Skitter, what are you saying? I'm Catholic in name only, and I agree that with that lady's words, we once declared a crusade just to ransack Constantinople, a Christian city. I thought the Catholics did not help Constantinople because they were the wrong kind of Christians. Thought they were Orthodox and then they didn't help them. Am I confused? I'm not sure I know what the word ransack means. So maybe that's my problem. What's ransack? I need to check. Let me check what ransack means. We'll translate. Why is it so heavy, really? Like, why is it so heavy? Let me see, one sec. Okay, open. Why doesn't one sec? Huh? I don't know. Okay, even with translation, I don't understand it. Even with the translation, I don't understand this word in this context. Oh, it looks like it should be playing. I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear anything? Maybe nobody's talking. Oh well. What's happening? Is it just pressing on random things? I don't get it. Where is the volume? Can't hear anything. Oh, ransack is looting. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so let's see what's happening right now actually. If that would work. Anyway, I'll just open it in my iPad. By the way, I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you guys follow Josh. He just sent me this awesome thing, some photos. And share it, show you. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. I want to show you something because my friend just sent it to me. It's an India Times or something like that. Footage from 1947. I don't understand what's up with this thing. X still has bugs with different formats of sound bites. What's happening? I want to show you something. Because my friend just sent me something cool. So I want to show it to you. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a little bit of quiet time right now. Because my computer is driving me crazy. What are you guys talking about? What's happening? Here. Okay, I'm sharing a photo with you guys. But because, like, you know what it's like if I press on something, it takes an hour. So imagine how much time it takes to show you a photo. Like right now, I pressed on add a photo, thinking for an hour, looking for a photo, thinking for an hour. Ugh. So annoying. And I closed everything. So just life is just like that sometimes, I guess. And we didn't even start talking about Gaza and the fact that we are finally gonna go in and just take the place. But the question is like, the interesting question is, of course, is what's gonna happen with the Gazans, you know, because their lifestyle right now is absolutely unacceptable and unsustainable, right? So the way they live their life is that they don't work. I actually have also a photo with the percentage of unemployment there, which is insanity, from 2018. But clearly, like, the photo sharing is gonna take way too long, so I'm just gonna tell you the numbers. So it's like mostly unemployed. They give birth like crazy, and then the whole effing world needs to feed them, right? So can you imagine having a lifestyle where someone else feeds you, someone else takes care of you, someone else does all those things, and then if they don't, you are hungry because you don't work, because you're unproductive parasites. And then and honestly speaking, like I kind of, it made me understand the concept of like what do you do with them? Like, you need to make them work somehow. So is it gonna be called slavery if we make them work, those lazy assholes? I don't know. So what's the point? Like, what's the point of them at all? So yeah, that's my thoughts about Gaza. So it's gonna be problematic because this is a community, and they're gonna cry, right? If they are forced to work to feed themselves, they're gonna make problems. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Anyway, look at that. It's the Times of India from 1947. And it says, Arabs run amok in Jerusalem, Jews attacked and shops set on fire, British police avert serious riots, and I have another, and destruction in Kashmir at the same time. Look, nothing changes. Nothing changes. But I think if Israel takes over, then we can send them to Europe that defended them with all their hearts and everything they could, and went against Israel with all their mights and still do. And now Italy is cooperating with Turkey, and everybody's cooperating with Turkey, who support the HTS, who are butchering the Druze. Why are they supporting them? Why are they cooperating with them? Why?
Accounts here updating on everything happening there, so you can spread the word and raise awareness.
Ends what everyone wants, and we hope things calm down, and we're praying for the hostages. Rest in peace to all the heroes and the victims of the
And
massacre
the Druze
of
decided
Sahnaya,
to
and just like praying for the Druze in Sweden and the Druze everywhere. Thank you so much, guys. See you on Wednesday.
All right, I think they're done. It's funny. All right, so this is one. Anyway, I'm just thinking, like, what's next, right? We take over Gaza, and then you have all these lazy fuckers who have the whole world support. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I think the only thing you could do, I mean, I think the moral thing to do would have been like making sure they work, even if it looks a little bit like slavery, because I don't think they're gonna be productive unless they get whipped, honestly speaking. I honestly like understand the world of the Bible so much better now. Like, I feel like I was humbled. I was against slavery, but now I feel like, you know what? How do you make people like that work? Slavery, right? And that's like the non-brutal nice option, because that's the only thing they could do, right? Like, the only thing they could be productive, and then they probably gonna complain about that. And then the second nicest thing you can do with them is, of course, to I don't know, like, send them to their families in Egypt. I mean, maybe that's the first one, but I think their families in Egypt are gonna just, you know, send them swimming, but without the floaties. And then the third nicest thing to do is just, like, if they come to attack you, make sure there are as many casualties as possible until they stop attacking you. And I'm certain that they're gonna do it until they're completely, like, gone, right? And then whoever is left and completely surrendered, they can, like, maybe they can work without being enslaved, and, like, with time, like, learn a profession and then move to Europe as, like, somewhat productive citizens. But probably what's gonna happen is all those nice ways to go about it are gonna get criticized. So we just have to arrange, like, floaties to take them to Europe, who's gonna burn under its own stupidity. So you get what you deserve, international community. You get what you deserve. All right. This is another page. I cannot see what it's. Control of sugar and glue in Bombay province. Is there anything interesting in this one? No, I don't see it. But anyway, that's the Times of India, talking about us being in the same situation for, like, forever now. Okay, I don't know if I can show you, like, the beautiful images from Yemen and the nice explosions. And by the way, there are so many explosions also in Iran happening, which I'm sure are just, like, people who, and, like, things that were set up during a period of time, just waiting for the right time. And clearly, I feel like the Yemen strike, which there are rumors that some tacticals were used there, are definitely kind of, how you call it, like, general repetition, right? Just before the main show, before Iran gets targeted, like, they're practicing on Yemen, 1%. Like, I live know you, I'm not sure, but she was like, guys, Iran is closer than Yemen. So what you're seeing now in Yemen is, like, that's coming to you. And it looks like all the explosions are just making things easier, right? Because everything that is exploding is kind of related to chemicals. And by the way, there was also a strike in Lebanon tonight on some military industry complex. So yes. Anyway, Saint Mal saying a good choice for Islam Gazans is relocation to Egypt, Iran, Sinai, Red Sea, China. Just an idea. Yeah, perfect. I think so. Skeeter is saying General Augusto Pinochet had a really affected form of I'll look it up. All right, let me see what General Augusto Pinochet did. Anyway, like, you heard the Druze people, right? Like, it's incredible. I heard what it say. Oh, Chile. Interesting. What did this guy do? I mean, he is a socialist. Oh, he persecuted leftist, socialist, and political Oh, nice, interesting. But I don't think those numbers are. It's different. Asking me about where did I find the clip from the New York Times. Well, here is how I found. I saw it on my friend's Insta story, and for him to get it, he had to do he subscribed to the Media Times website to get them. So yeah, that's how. All right, let's see what's more happening. Let me see. Someone else again, does Israel have the right to exist in Palestine? You know, Palestine, you know why Jordan is not called Palestine? Because they say they don't want to be called East Palestine because Palestine is a Jewish name. Yeah, because it was part of Palestine. It was part of what was supposed to be the Jewish state. And then it was like taken away from us in the first compromise. So Palestine is Jewish, sweetheart. And by the way, honestly speaking, there is a reason why I don't care about the genetic kind of whatever. We are the indigenous people, okay? But I don't feel sorry for savages, and I don't think savages should exist anywhere, honestly speaking. Like those people, these people who just feel like they are, the whole world is effing obligated to feed their children when they don't care to work. And they do it by terrorizing. It's not even like, you know, by saying, hey, help, like it's not like it doesn't even come from a place of anything, actually, like anything. It's like, no, like I don't get it. I seriously couldn't get it. Here's my contribution towards your new computer. Thank you, Psychics. Oh yeah, I was so starting to tell you that we were looking at opening an organization, NGO for helping the Druze. And yeah, I was looking at the technical details, and a lawyer messaged me that does that, and I didn't answer him yet, but yeah, that's also something I did today. Anyway, it's not just the Jews. Like, you heard them talk, right? You heard the Druze talking. The Druze are not Jews. They're Arabs. They're actually Arabs. So genetically, they're Arab. And I mean, I'm not sure if genetically, like, you know, they're whatever. I think actually they are not that close to Arabs genetically. There's some story there. But and we're all kind of close to each other enough. But it's the same for the Yazidis and the Kurds and the Christians, like everybody who live here, the Alawites, right? All the minorities are being persecuted, and yet, even if we combine all the minorities together, right? All of the minorities here together, we don't have numbers that would flood the internet, right? Even if we combine all the minorities, like all the Druze together, all the Jews together, all the Alawites and the Maronites, all like start being active on socials, right? We still don't have numbers to tilt the overwhelming Muslim 2 billion Muslims, right? And with that, like, it's not just the 2 billion Muslims, it's also the billion leftists. I don't know how many leftists there are, but like, seriously speaking, like 3 billion idiots who are bloodthirsty maniacs what drives them is jealousy, and they want to do harm. Yeah, they even if we combine all the local minorities, we are not enough people. What there is to do, and you can see how quickly you can turn into a powerless majority, and then even more powerless minority in your own countries. Just look at the average Brit and what he can do. Like, even they cannot do anything. They can vote as much as they want, but they're gonna get nothing from it. So they have no power. So yeah, Ireland. What the fuck, Ireland? And I saw people are going out to the streets in Ireland now, but do they, I don't know, do they have any ammunition? Do they have the readiness or the ability to do what needs to be done? I don't know. I think maybe once the first country falls, the other countries, people would make their choices a little bit more, with more conviction. That's what I think. So yeah. Steve, you don't know. Druze are not Arabs. They won't even marry Arabs. No, they don't marry outside of the Druze community. It's not that they won't marry Arabs. It's just they don't marry Muslims. Nobody wants to marry Muslims. It's like marrying a disease. St. Miles, dang, Rebecca, you could do a crowdfunding with the number of sims on your channel to get a new computer. Serious numbers from making back. You'd think, right? But they're just like, they're not being anything. They're not being useful. They're just like talking about how big my eyes are, and they're not even sending money for me to get a better computer situation so I can create content to fight the ills of the world. Yeah, I don't know what, like, my big eyes help me with that at all. It's like they come for something and then I talk about politics, and clearly I don't think they care about humanity. So they're not helping me at all. So yeah, that's me complaining. I don't know. I was never good at it, you know. I don't understand how you use looks for this kind of things. I just want people to help out because I'm fighting for something that is important, and I think we all should be fighting for it together. And I really give my all to do so, and I really need your help so that we would fight, right? And I understand that not everybody is willing to sacrifice their whole life and give 100% of their time in speaking out for minorities and people and saying the truth and saying things that need to be heard. But it is something that is not just, you know, I do it because I think it's our fight, right? It's something we all should be doing together. So that's for sure. And yeah, so I would really, really like if you guys can share, if whatever you can do, even tell me, like, even help me with editing or like take some of my content away. So, because I don't care, I just want the message to be out. I'm fighting for something, and I also want to eat as well. Honestly speaking, I want to be able to have the means to do it. So that's it. So I'm ready to hear you out on everything from how to edit or how to do things, but it's also a lot of times, so sometimes it's too overwhelming. So if you guys can help me in any way, shape or form, even thinking about like better thumbnails or titles, I cannot, like, it's overwhelming to do all those things, right? And that's it. But it's something that I think is important to do. And smash the damn like button. It's free. Thank you, investor. So that's it. So that's my message. That it's something that is for effing all of us. And this is why I honestly think that because it's our fight and something that we should all be caring about. Like, I would love for my community to be more active in even like helping me to improve, spreading the message, or, you know, helping me and supporting me. So, because right now it's not paying off. I'm just like, you know, and it's hard for a lot of us who do that. And it's not like there are a lot of activists like us. So it's not easy. It's not an easy job. We do it because we really believe that if we're not going to do it, nobody's going to do it. But we need your help in general. Like, we all need your help. Like, all of us who are in the front lines. And it's not just, you know, everybody, when it comes to arranging donations to the army, like, the whole, like, that was I feel like a lot easier than getting donations to people who do the global PR side, right? But then on the other hand, people are like saying, why don't you have that? Why don't you have that? Well, because the government cannot say what I'm saying, and private citizens just, for some reason, are not as supportive of other Jews, of Jews who do what I do, because to them it's not as practical maybe, or not as clear as like donating a helmet to the army. But then they go around and talk about why is nobody saying anything? Why is nobody talking? Well, because nobody's supporting us. What we say, we only can say because the government, there is a reason like the government doesn't want to support it, because they want us to say the truth the way I'm saying it. But it cannot be in a it cannot be tied to a government, because that would mean that it's completely different if I say something like we're gonna strike Iran, and if the government is supporting me, right, then that would be a completely different thing than a private person who says, okay, we gotta strike Iran, right? But somebody has to say a lot of things that need to be said. So on one hand, people are like, okay, why don't we have that? On the other hand, there is really almost no support for us. There aren't a lot of us, and that there isn't a lot of support. So that's just the reality of it. Honestly speaking, we all struggle like behind the scenes, right? Even the bigger channels. Now, like I can say, Israel advocacy movement, like they took his channel, like they demonetized his channel. Like he's trying to figure out what's happening with YouTube behind the scenes, but it's his livelihood, right? For a lot of us, it's just like that. So honestly speaking, like what's gonna happen if there wouldn't be more support to our things, to what we do, to the PR side of things? We're gonna see less and less Israeli influencers, and less people who talk the way I do, not because they don't want to, but because like at some point, right, even for me, at some point I'll be like, you know what? This is not something I'm doing for myself. This is something I'm doing for us. But no matter how much I try and I try and I try, I don't get the support I need. I don't get the help I need, even though it's something I do not just for me. And I'm clearly not making enough to continue doing this, right? So I can do it for a year or two or maybe 3. But honestly speaking, like I also like if I don't figure out how to make like real livelihood out of it, and I need your guys' help to do that and figuring that out. I'll also go back to being an engineer, right? This is a way easier and safer job. Being an engineer in high tech full time is easier than doing what I'm doing right now. So it's a very risky job, and we do it. And yet I don't think people understand. They look at us as like those influencers, as if we're looking for attention. We're not, actually. We're really sacrificing. A lot of us, most of us behind the scenes are sacrificing a lot for this. But there is like a limit. And as the farther away we get from October 7th, right, the less we would be able to continue fueling ourselves on nothing. So that's it. And how can you send? So you can support me on Buy Me Coffee. There is PayPal. There are links below in my channel. Or the best you could do, which I really want to do next month, if you guys want to do my course. So I have an Understanding Humanity course, which is very good. So really, if you want to give money, but also have something that is 100% worth the price, right? People who took this course told me that, and it's not something that is anywhere. So I know I need to push it more, my Understanding Humanity course. So consider that, because I believe that this is something that if you want to contribute yourself, this course will teach you how to do that, right? It teaches exactly how to make a difference, and how to change it, how to do analysis, how to think geopolitically. And the other thing is that you can just contribute by sending money via one of the links below. So buy me coffee or Patreon or PayPal, and there are like also like different support tiers. So Saint Miles, what are you saying? Stanislav bought 3 books. Book, pizza, or whatever helps. Thank you so much for your support. You guys have to understand that, like, this is something I do 24/7, right? Like, it's a lot of things also behind the scenes. And I at some point, you know, like, I've been doing this for a year, but at this point I understand, like, I need help. If I don't get help and support, I'm not gonna make it. That's it. Like, it's not sustainable. And just, you know, I try to break through and like to get through with a lot of different ways. And I'm not very good with asking for help, but I guess at some point I have to understand, like, I think what I'm doing is very important, and this is why I do it. And I feel like I talk about things that other people wouldn't talk about. And a lot of times, like, people talk about things that are, and like my niche is very heavy, right? I talk about very relatively complex subjects. So it might be not as fun as well. So I understand that does not like get people going as much. But I also thought or think it's important that it would be out there, you know. So I will improve, it will be better. But for that, right, to get to the point, to get to the point where it's actually the best, and I am the best that I could be. I really do need your feedback, and thank you someone for buying a book. Your feedback, your support, your help. I'm here, right? It's not always like it's not always that I can do everything right away, but I try, believe me. And Sam Miles, thank you so much for your support again. Just FYI, I do use clips from both yours and Apostate Prophets, longer contact, to convince support Israel, Lev Shalom, and Christians awareness. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, keep doing that. Like, I'm all for it. Feel free tagging me as well. So, yeah. All right. Thank you, Barry, for your support. All right, I'm thinking, are there anything else you guys want to talk about that is happening? Another thing that is a bit problematic is to show clips from fun clips of explosion and stuff, because I can get demonetized for it, so I kind of avoiding it. But yeah, I think there are a lot, like, we are back at another round of things happening fast. And I kind of want to preserve my energy because I feel like, you know, it's the final countdown, something like that. And by the way, there is so much material from my UK visit that I'm working on editing. So yeah, I think I wanted to explore the UK because I wanted to understand, like, the situation there and see if there is a hope or a way to change it. Because I think I sometimes think, like, not what people want. I understand people from the United Kingdom. And this is something I said on my video introducing it. And by the way, I had a literal argument, the same, like, the day I posted it in the morning. So the same day I had another interview with a guy that runs Our Fight, Mark. And at some point I was like, listen, yeah, unless you're gonna talk about the UK, you're wasting my time. Stop hiding behind Israel and Palestine. Let's talk about the UK, because this is what people are doing. They think that if they argue about Israel or Palestine or whatever, right? If they are so afraid about actually talking about the situation in the UK and how to get out of it, even those politicians like the Reform UK and stuff, they don't really pave the way out of the situation you guys are in. And I understand the people in the UK, like in my gut, I understand the people in the UK. They're in denial. So this is my conclusion, right? But I still like feel like, yes, you guys want to hear just thinking about like things like what, like hearing about Israel, Palestine, things that are happening here. Maybe you guys want to, like in the UK, people don't want to. There are so many things like they want to hear about what's happening in the UK, but they don't want to talk about how to like how in reality it would look like to change the way the UK is. But sometimes there are things you need to hear, even if you don't want to, because you're gonna lose your country. Honestly, because like the Brits, like the UK, and I felt like unlike other countries in Europe, I can speak English, right? I cannot do the same for France because I wouldn't be able to go around and speak French to people. But I'm not sure like it's that much different in France. Like you can look at the outside symptoms, right? You can see that they have similar symptoms just by footage and the way Macron is talking about what they did to Le Pen. You can tell that the Netherlands is probably in a similar situation because they could not stop a pogrom from happening in Amsterdam, and that the mayor was for it. And you can see that Sweden has the same issue because Salwan Momika was murdered and nobody is persecuted. Literally, it is now okay to kill people and get away with it because the authorities are not gonna look for you. They actually got away. The murderers got away from murdering. So just because like the UK is English speaking, so it's available, doesn't mean that if you look at just the outside symptoms, I don't feel like France is, or the Canada, like a France or Canada, which is farther, so I didn't go all the way there, or Sweden, or in the Netherlands, that they're in a better situation. Probably not, actually. Probably not. So what I can do is give practical a way out, because there are ways out. You can even look at Lebanon now. Like as fun as much as we had like talked about Lebanon and how it is the example of a country that was Christian, was taken over. They're dismantling Hezbollah now. They are actually collecting the weapons from the Palestinian groups inside of Lebanon. So shockingly, something that, listen, it might be premature, but it is way more than anyone expected, right? So if in Lebanon, that is now a minority Christian, can have some signs of reversal, how about it's time for you in countries, take your countries and start changing. And it is very much, a lot of times, like I said, if I was not here doing what I do, then who's gonna talk about things that I do the way I do? And Sandra Rebecca, it's not correct what you talk about the Netherlands. Sandra, the Netherlands is in a bad situation. I'm sorry to tell you. It's been taken over by the mafia. Send Miles. Short and concise presentations are easier to share on other social media platforms. Yeah, by the way, I started doing that on my Instagram. So guys, follow me on X and follow me on Instagram as well, by the way. So my X is can share in my profile. Actually, I'll share it right now. To follow me on X, but on Instagram, I started doing that on Instagram. And I feel like on Instagram, it's easier to share with people. So I've learned something. See, I'm learning all the time myself, right? I'm trying things. One song, thank you for support and sent Miles. Just FYI, I submitted your name for the team poll in real life concerning Israel and Islam problems. Oh, thank you so much. I just saw I don't know what's the team pool IRL is, but I saw Tim Pool. He had an interview on trigonometry, and I was so impressed by this guy. He said a lot of similar things too, and he also presented a lot of things that similar to the way I feel I do, except that his English is way better and like his accent is better and things like that, and he speaks without stumbling on his words, which really impressed me. It's like, oh my God, one day after talking enough, I'll be like him. I will say everything and pronounce it right. And I mean, I'm not a native English speaker, but still, you know. But I was super impressed by him, not gonna lie. So yeah, I think he had an interview on trigonometry. On my way. Sandra is saying, I am Dutch. I think I know something about what is happening in the Netherlands. Well, you should see how many Brits think everything is fine in Britain. Yeah. Anyway, the Netherlands, I don't know, but why did Amsterdam wasn't able to prevent a program that was pre-planned? Why was Geert Wilders not allowed to establish a government? It could be that compared to other countries, the Netherlands might be a better way out. But you don't know. Like Israel didn't realize how awful and how deeply destructive the deep state in Israel is until October 7th. And we have been battling. By the way, one of the reasons for this great shift we're seeing right now is because Israel had managed to remove a lot of the rotten, stinking, deep state power grabbers that it had. This is why Israel had announced that they're gonna take over Gaza now, because they removed the rotten generals that when the order to conquer Gaza was given, not now, not today, it was given on October 7th. And they said no. They said no. Those losers said no. And Patrick O'Brien bought 5 books, and thank you so much for support, Patrick. Those general losers said no because they were part of the deep state system that protected them, and it made it super hard to replace them for all until now, right? We still didn't complete. I think we still didn't completely gotten rid of the rotten Shabak head, right? The general security head Onen Bar that really deserves jail, and to be honest, probably deserves the punishment for treason. The way he's behaving, lying on his testimonies and everything. This is when you understand. On October 7th, when the government said, hey, go ahead and go and take over Gaza, and the generals, fucking stupid generals, said no. This is when you end the whole system inside of Israel made it impossible to work properly. This is when you discover what's your real situation is like. And it took us until now. There was the secret front. The secret front, people couldn't, didn't say to the, it got out there, right? But people said Israel fought on 7 fronts without saying, listen, actually the most difficult front Israel was fighting against is getting getting those who are willing to sacrifice Israeli citizens for their own power, getting them out of the way was actually was Israel's biggest fight, and still is. It's not at 100% clean yet, but you see that things are moving, because for the last couple of months there were a lot of big victories on that front, and that was the biggest battle. Because when also another thing that happened, when Trump went in, then what happened was like the deep state in Israel was tied to the deep state in the United States. So the Americans came in, cleaned up USAID, who funded Hamas, but also anti-Israel and power-hungry assholes inside of Israel. And even after that, right, even after the situation was finally that they don't get this crazy amount of money from the US government, they still get crazy amount of money from Europe, by the way, because they pay about the same. So the crazy amount they got was cut into half. And it took several months after that. But it took several months after Trump went into power, right, to be able to clean enough to see what we're seeing now. Things are going to be different from now. And here's the interesting thing, right? Theoretically speaking, Israel could have done way more. Realistically speaking, we had to clean we had to fight against the hardest enemy. That the hardest front line Israel was fighting was the Qatar-funded, USAID-funded, power-hungry, warmongers, assholes inside of it that were in key positions in the Israeli society. One song, Keep Speaking the Truth, Rebecca, even when it hurts for us who have historically persecuted the Jews. One song, I don't know if you were here when the Druze were speaking, but did you know that in the 1840, the Jews of Tzfat, right, northern Israel, were massacred by the Druze. The Druze, right, those exactly the same people that we have a blood covenant with right now, who we are fighting together, it's like it's been said, like especially since October 7th, we say like Jews and Druze. We have a blood covenant. And we are people like brothers. There were still occasions when the Druze, under the Ottoman Empire, by the way, because they had a lot, there was a time they had a lot of legislative powers. They also are, by the way, there was a Druze state as well, right? So they had a lot of, anyway, it's complex. There were times where they were the ones who persecuted us, and yet we have a blood covenant now. And what I loved is that the Druze person who spoke right now in the conversation between them, he brought it up himself. Nobody reminded him, and he said, like, I know there were times the Druze massacred the Jews, but now we are brothers, and there is a blood covenant between us, and we're gonna fight for you to the end. And we trust you to be with us as well. So this is the problem, which I feel like I'm trying to say that Christianity and Christian-minded societies have, is that they cannot understand that a new generation, yes, you have historically persecuted the Jews. You can stop. You can learn from it and understand that just because your ancestors were assholes, It doesn't mean you have to be, or that you have to think that would stop us from cooperating with you. All we need to see is that a new generation had come that knows what's moral and what's immoral and acts accordingly. That's it. And we can change the world. But it's important to learn from the past and recognize it and acknowledge it, just like the Druze guy did. But it's also important to know that just because there is reality and things can change if you make a choice to do so. All right, Jack, I made an X account and I'm spreading the word. Yes, sir. Thank you. St. Miles. Interesting. Never knew Israel had a deep state. Israel is a deep state that has a government on top of it. Because Israel existed before Israel declared its independence, right? People already grabbed different positions, and those were private initiatives, right? So you had the Istadut and a lot of things that people just started, even the Haganah, right? They observed the competition or killed it. But the government was created on top of the already existing deep state. So it's different from America, where you have a government and then a deep state that was created later. The deep state is actually more deep and has a 200-year history in Israel versus the government, which has an 80 years history. So yeah. So by the way, this is why a lot of the deep state people, they react in a way that shows that they are afraid that Israel is being taken away from them. They react in a way that you see them panicking, saying, this is not the Israel I grew up in. This is not the Israel, because the Israel that was there before was the Israel that was power grabbed by them. And of course it's changing. They did a lot of shitty stuff. They were against religion. They themselves, by the way, shaved the beards of religious Jews. The people, right? It's not the government. It's the deep state that was that grabbed power in Israel. Is the institution in Israel. They themselves did things like shaving off beards from Jews in Israel. And at some point, the Judaism won. And these people who were they wanted a country but disliked religion felt the power slipping away, because they had in their minds, they started all the institutions, but they hated religion. They shaved off beards of Jewish men. And yet in the long run, Judaism won in Israel. And this is why they feel like somebody's taking away the country they had built, right? They started it, and suddenly those Jews come. It's ridiculous. And worst of all, it's their own grandchildren who are like, grandparents, we're Jews, what's wrong with you? How can you be anti-religion? This is who we are, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? Yeah. So, this is why I love from the Bible, if you remember, right? Don't have a God other than me. And it says you can be astray for fourth generations, but at the fourth generation, right, it would not hold. So we're coming close, right? That to the point where the fourth generation is taking over. And they're like, our great-grandparents worshipped a different God, not the Jewish God. But the fourth generation is like, you have worshipped, you have went against the 10 Commandments by worshiping a foreign God. And now we're going back because it can only hold up to four generations. And this is like, and then it's either a complete disaster or what's happening in Israel. We can see that we're going back to our God, basically, back to our God. So, yeah, so science, got some work to do. Thanks for the information. Bye. Thank you for being here. And Skitter, I have to get a better job to pay you better? I was going to wait until October. I think, yeah, if that gives you motivation, go ahead, Skitter. Sorry. Stop compromising. All right, everybody. I think we had enough conversation, and I think we would have a lot more news coming in the following. We need to preserve some grit. All right, everybody. Good night.